To hold up cards at 30 seconds, candidates, and the red card being stopped. You're probably all used to that drill. We're going to ask the audience to hold their applause. We're not going to do applauses after each response, because I'm sure you can make that yourself. That would take up a lot of time, and we've got a full program today. The questions have not been shared with the candidates, so they're all going to be giving you their first impressions. And we're going to start off with an introduction and statement of qualifications, and then we're going to have 3 questions, and then we're going to just have a very brief 1-minute close. So everything's going to be 2 minutes, except the close will just be 1 minute. So I'm going to ask somebody totally random to pick a date. Gil, would you just pick a date out of the air?
August 30th.
August 30th. Whose birthday is closest to August 30th? Come on, you guys are going to be mayor. What are you? Which of our candidates is closest to August 30th?
Without going over. I'm May 17th.
May 17th?
I'm September 24th.
Oh, that's pretty close.
September? I think Carmel's got it. So you're going to be first, and then we're going to go in a left from Carmel. So Rick, you'll be second, and we're going to alternate each question to keep it fair. So I wanted to also thank Terry, who helped us get the PR out, and we're glad to see so many people here. So I'll remind the candidates you're going to get 2 minutes, and I'll read you the first question and then hand the microphone to Carmel. So the first is introduction and qualifications. Tell us about yourself and why you are running. For those previously elected to public office, what have you accomplished during your time in office? For those who haven't, what qualifies you to serve as mayor? Would you like me to read that again?
All that 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes. Introduction, tell us about yourself and why you are running. For those previously elected, what have you accomplished during your time in office? For those who haven't, what qualifies you to serve as mayor? Carmel Rowe.
My name is Carmel Rowe. I'm a 41-year resident of the city of San Bernardino. I have a Bachelor's of Science degree from Cal State San Bernardino in marketing with a double minor in public administration and public relations. The reason I'm running to be the mayor is ever since I've been the age of 3 years old, my mom has been praying for the city. She's been praying that all the things that go on in the city would stop to go on. So my whole life I've grown up with it in my mind that I'm going to be the mayor so that I can make a difference in the city. What qualifies me is that I drive around the city and I see everything that goes on in this city, and I actually have a workable solution to fix it. I call this city it's just a one big fix and flip. It's a 90-day fix and flip plan. And we do have the resources, and we do have the money, and we do have the energy to do these things. Me, I'm an action taker. I take action, and I believe that's what we need. I believe that. Because I take action, because I've been in real estate for 23 years, because I've been in college, because I've been in San Bernardino, because I've been through every department in the city, from planning to code enforcement. I understand how the inner workings of the city works, and I think if we do a few tweaks and get a few manuals and get a few people doing what they need to be doing, then we could see a lot of improvement in the city. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rick Avila. My roots are well over 100 years deep. And I am a construction business owner. I have a general engineering license, a Class A. I've been involved in a lot of major projects here in the city of San Bernardino. When the late Roger Hargrave, I did plenty of jobs for him, public works. But we drive around the city. What qualifies me is I understand business. The city politicians really they're not business friendly like they should be, like they used to be. And some of these projects that we do have, they don't generate revenue that we need. I know the SBX bus line was one of the projects that Mayor Morris wanted, but I think it should have been modified to not gridlock the city. And that's where somebody like myself that understands businesses, there's a lot of people on East Street that are losing a lot of business because of that bus. If you go drive down to Loma Linda, the engineer, Jar, he used to be an associate here in San Bernardino. He didn't want that bus line to go right through his city, but it still goes through it. And he doesn't have any problems doing that. As mayor, I would modify that, and I would look at other projects that would help the city and help other businesses, because I know it firsthand about businesses and politicians. I am not a politician. Now, when I do win, when I do become mayor, there's going to be a lot of politicians. They're going to come up and shake my hands, and will I reach out to them? Of course I will. We need to come together with politicians and business owners. I already have a committee of business owners, business people with business minds. And that's what we need in the city, is a business-friendly community. And I guess that time is up. Thank you. I have time? Is that it?
Good afternoon, my name is Danny Tillman. I want to first thank the Rotary for hosting this forum, and thank you for your years and years of service to the city of San Bernardino, and commend you for the work you do with our youth. You all have given hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years to the young men and women from our school district. It makes a big difference. I saw Mr. Singer here today. He doesn't realize the opportunities for him to be in a room with this many people with connections and people that can help him in his future. So I want to thank you for the work you do in our community. I was born and raised in San Bernardino. Right now, I work for the county of San Bernardino. I'm an information systems administrator, so I take care of all the technology for all the human services departments. I've been on the school board for 23 years, been elected to the school board 6 times. I'm running for mayor to ensure that the city is safe. I want to make the city look a whole lot better, and want to ensure we take care of senior citizens. Things that I've accomplished on the school board. The school board, I've been on it 23 years. All 23 years, we had a positive budget certification. The rating is getting higher now. We went through the recession, and we still were able to balance our budgets. Since I've been on school, we built 16 brand new schools, and that's because working together with the other board members, we were able to make sure we position ourselves in a way we could get funding from the state to build those schools and open them. That's just one example of the accomplishments I have since I've been on the school board, but I'm excited about the potential to work with my fellow city council people to bring economic growth to the city of San Bernardino and do the 3 things I talked about earlier: making San Bernardino safe, making San Bernardino look a whole lot better, and ensure we take care of our senior citizens. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Councilman John Valdivia. I'm a resident, lifelong resident of the city of San Bernardino, born and raised here, to a awesome family on the west side of San Bernardino. My mom was a single parent, raised 4 kids on the west side of San Bernardino, did a fantastic job. I have an older sister that graduated from Pacific High School. I graduated from San G. So this is my hometown. I was born and raised here. I'm raising a family. I'm one of I have a unique advantage in the sense that I have children. I'm the only elected official with children under the age of 18 at City Hall. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. My wife and I, Beth, are raising here in the city. I have 20 years, nearly 20 years of pharmaceutical experience in pharmaceutical manufacturing. Recently with Amgen Pharmaceuticals, a biopharmaceutical company out of Thousand Oaks. I've been elected to office for nearly 6 years. March of 2012, I was sworn into office. It's been a great honor to serve people in my hometown. It's a great privilege to serve people. Corresponding, interacting, and really building a relationship with my constituents is really the greatest, funnest part of my job, is filling potholes, tree trimming, infrastructure repairs. From 2012 to 2015, I was instrumental in earmarking and appropriating CDBG funding for public works and tree trimming and park restoration. I was instrumental in getting the lion's share of that money appropriated in my district for street repairs, which had been long disenfranchised. So visit more at valdiviaformayor.com It's a great opportunity. I thank the Rotary for hosting this event.
Hi, I'm Gigi Hanna. I'm the city clerk for the city of San Bernardino, and I want to thank my fellow Rotarians for making this possible today. For the past 6 years, I've been on the front line of local government, following the discussions and watching your pleas for help fall on deaf ears, and helping you navigate City Hall and getting to know the issues that are important to you. I'm the only municipal official who has won 2 citywide elections. People know me, they trust me. And in my capacity, I've heard all of the discussions in open and closed session before the city, including bankruptcy, charter issues, homeless, cannabis, and economic development. I promote communication with all of our partners and potential partners in making the city better, including the people, because we will thrive or fail together. And the people must have a voice in this. Basically, I have one of the largest Rolodexes in town, and I'm not afraid to use it. And specifically, in my capacity, I have revived the Fine Arts Commission, providing a means for local arts groups to survive, and gave the community a sense of normalcy during the bankruptcy. I've used partnerships within the community to keep the 60-year-old Sister Cities program alive despite pressure to disband it. I've made more than 100 years of city documents, campaign contributions, and other information available online and accessible to the public without a public records request, and we're continuing to work on that. I updated the municipal code for the first time since 2010 and made it again searchable online. I saw the value, again, in fine arts, and reached out to state officials to make sure that that Rosa Parks statue got finished and installed, and it became a source of pride and a point of light in this city. And I've worked in the community to help address community issues even when I'm not running for office. Having served on the Symphony Board, the Boys and Girls Club of San Bernardino as a Rotary president, and I'm currently serving on the Community Advisory Board at the Water Resources Institute and as board president for Habitat for Humanity. I came to the city in '94 as a reporter for The Sun.
Good afternoon. I'm Mayor Kerry Davis, and I want to thank the Rotary Club of San Bernardino for hosting this event. I was born and raised in the city of San Bernardino. I'm a third-generation resident. Earned my MBA from Cal State San Bernardino. I'm also a CPA. My wife of 45 years, I want to thank her for all the support. She's with us today. We have 4 children and 13 grandchildren. I have a proven track record of over 35 years of successful business experience. I led the city out of our bankruptcy, and if re-elected, I will lead us through the recovery. In 2012, the city faced a $45 million budget deficit, and we ended up filing for bankruptcy. In 2014, I was elected to get us out of bankruptcy and clean up the mess at City Hall. Our audits were late, we had no clearly defined goals, we had dysfunctional lines of authority, ineffective management, we lost over 100 police officers. Under my leadership, we corrected that fundamental flaw of the city government. In 2016, we repealed the archaic city charter. We adopted a new modern charter establishing a council-manager form of government. We exited bankruptcy. We've hired a highly respected new city manager with a 5-year agreement. Our audits are current, and today we have over a $30 million budget surplus. Over the past 2 years, by the end of this current fiscal year, we will have hired a net 35 new police officers. My priorities include improving public safety, establishing a thriving economy and high-paying jobs, revitalizing our downtown, and creating a world-class city. We've reduced crime by approximately 14% over the past 2 years, and the response time for police is actually down. Our 911 fire department response time has gone from 9 minutes 50 seconds to less than 6 minutes. Unemployment has dropped from 7.5% to approximately 5.5%. And our assessed values have increased over $700 million in 1 year. I'm a proven leader that delivers results and have gained endorsement of the majority of the City Council, the majority of the Board of Supervisors, State Senator Mike Mayoral, and State Senator Connie Leyva, as well as many neighboring mayors and council members.
Thank you, Mayor. Our first question, we're going to start with Mr. Rick Avila, and you're going to have 2 minutes on this one. What is your leadership style? And what, if anything, will you do to improve ethics in city government, transparency, and citizen participation? Want to hear that again?
I think I can do it. As mayor, I've ran a few times, and what we see at City Hall is, just like Tim says, not enough participation. As mayor, I would like to have a council meeting with speakers only, with 5 minutes. And I've said that before. Now they're cut down to 3 minutes for the entire meeting. We need to hear from the people themselves. I was one of the people that was going up to city council meetings. As a business owner, the way the city treats business people, like I said before, the East Street, all those businesses are all hurting. This is how we make a living. As mayor, I know that's a lot of, what other question? Real quick.
We've got, what is your leadership style, and what, if anything, will you do to improve ethics in city government, transparency, and citizen participation?
I already said the participation. Now, the leadership, I own a business for over 30 years, and running a business, we don't just do our 8, hit the gate, and get a check every week. I have to go out and make my own living, either through advertising, dropping out cars, bidding on my, I am the owner, I am the secretary, the bidder. I go out and have to do my own typing to get my own invoices out. And as a leader, as a business owner, it's not easy doing it. How many here people own a business? It's not easy. I used to get a lot of government jobs, but without a performance and payment bond, I'm relying on myself and just word of mouth. For 30 years, I'm still getting phone calls from people we did work 30 years ago because of my reputation. Thank you, guys.
Can you repeat the question?
What is your leadership style, and what, if anything, will you do to improve ethics in city government, transparency, and citizen participation?
Just by getting elected will improve all those areas and have a proven track record of that. The mayor mentioned that the city has a surplus. The definition of a surplus, an amount of something left over when requirements have been met, and excess of production or supply over demand. We may have unspent money in the budget, but trust me, it's not a surplus. There are many demands in this city. There are many things that money should be spent on. But to call it a surplus is the wrong term. And that's the reason why I'm running for office. We have to have someone in office that has common sense and the expertise and the proven track record of getting things done. If we don't, we'll be satisfied with the status quo. And I just encourage you to look at the track record I have at the school district. I can't go through the whole list of all the things that myself, my fellow board members, and the district staff have accomplished at the district. But it's because of the leadership, to some extent, the leadership that I have provided. And I'm excited about the possibility to work with fellow council people and the citizens of San Bernardino to give us what we're really looking for. And if there's ever a time when I say we have a surplus, that'll be after all the streets are paved, that'll be after all the abandoned buildings are gone, it'll be after all the policies are passed and ordinances are created to allow us to gain more revenue. And we have enough playgrounds and things for our youth to do. Then I'll say we have a surplus. At this point, we just have money we haven't spent to make repairs that are in dire need. So I hope you guys consider voting for me on June 5th as your mayor.
Mr. Valdivia.
Sir? My leadership style is to listen to people, be attentive to details, and poll people. I regularly, as a councilman, I have for the last 6 years called individuals in my district. Typically, if I'm not on vacation or at City Hall, I like to survey my people. So from Sunday to Thursday night, I make 5 calls regularly and consistently to my district constituents. And I simply ask them, this is Councilman Valdivia, what are the issues and concerns on Main Street or First Street or what have you. And I hear it. I hear it regularly and consistently, some of the basics that you probably hear about or complain about, which is potholes, street repairs, street lights, fire response time, police response time. So those are the issues that I listen to attentively and try to address almost immediately. My leadership style is I don't like to pile stuff on my desk. I like to return calls immediately. I'm one of the council members that if you call, I'll call you by the close of business. That's my commitment to my district, certainly to my constituents throughout the entire city. I respond to emails. I'm very proactive. I'm engaged with the community. And I try to listen best and problem solve alongside community groups. I was instrumental in resurrecting 2 neighborhood groups and a third one in a different district, providing guidance and counsel to those neighborhood council presidents as they started to embark on a journey of creating a neighborhood watch, neighborhood councils, and engaging with residents in their local environment. So I like to see myself as a resource and provide that resource to other individuals, to empower individuals to speak up at City Hall and address issues.
My leadership style is collaborative and team building, harnessing partnerships with people that we already know and people that want to be involved in the process to find creative solutions. I embrace public participation, and residents have a right to comment on items on the agenda after hearing the staff report so that they know what they're talking about. I think it is a shame that they have now been limited to 3 minutes total for the whole meeting. I support a sunshine ordinance that leads to greater transparency in government by having campaign finance reform that keeps outside interests from having undue influence on our policy making, and local ethics reform requirements to prevent policymakers from voting on projects that benefit their large contributors. Without trust in the process, investors, both large and small, will not be willing to spend their funds and energy here in the city. As director overseeing more than 23,000 business registrations in the city, I knew that we were not business friendly, and that is negatively affecting the businesses already in the city and those who might want to locate here. Specifically, I worked with Meatla Cafe when their problems seemed surmountable when they wanted to expand, and worked with the owners to find solutions, and now they have an expansion. Another example is Brew Rebellion, who has had an offer from another city that they are seriously considering because they cannot get a call back from our city officials about how to make their business work here in San Bernardino. There's also been interest by Disney to build a large production facility here in the city, which would be an incredible boon to our economy and provide skilled and high-paying jobs, but have not been able to communicate with city officials. So I return phone calls, and I'm happy to listen to various ideas and come to creative, mutual solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate the opportunity to respond. My leadership style over the last 4 years has been one of engagement. I established the evening with the mayor early on. It's where we go out on a monthly basis and try to keep the community informed. Established that in order to be able to communicate what's going on in the city. Regarding ethics, I will encourage continued honest debate. I believe that over the course of the past 4 years, you've seen a real migration from the way city council behaved versus the way they are today. You've seen a real change in that. As far as transparency, one of the things that I've tried to do is to keep the citizens informed. Back in March of 2018 of this year, we established revised goals for the city. And those 4 goals are to implement the city's vision, provide for the safety of city residents and businesses, create, maintain, and grow jobs and economic value in the city, ensure development of well-planned, balanced, and sustainable city, improve city government operations, operate in a fiscally responsible, business-like manner, and pursue city goals and objectives by working with other agencies. We established these by building consensus. We put together a team of 17 members of our community back in 2015 to establish those goals. And so my effort has been to reach out, to listen to what the community feels are their goals and the challenges that we have, and then try to implement those, which we have been working on. As far as the citizenship and keeping them engaged, one of the things that we've recently done is to hire a communications firm. That communications firm will now be working very closely with the city manager to disseminate that information so that our community will know what's going on a more frequent basis. Our city manager has recently established a community newsletter, and that goes out on a monthly basis. And you can sign up for it and have it emailed to you on a regular basis. As I said before, one of my leadership styles is to try to build consensus. And you'll see now, if you were to look back over the last couple of years, that most of the actions that are taken by the City Council today result in about a 7-0 vote and unanimous votes on the majority of those times. And so I do believe that we're creating that environment where their investment will come to San Bernardino because they see that the City Council is working under this new paradigm where we have shifted our behaviors. Thank you.
So my leadership style is to be a servant leader and to take action. I've been involved now in the city of San Bernardino actively for probably over 12 years, in and out of various different things. We as a community are not listened to. I've had many meetings with people that ask me, how can we still speak at city council? They're not listening. They never listen. You know what? I figured maybe one day somebody will listen. You know, they have taken our voice from 12 minutes down to 6 minutes, down to 3 minutes. Public hearings used to have no time limit, and now they have a time limit. We have commissions who we ask these people to sit on these commissions, and then when they give you recommendations, you accept them, file them, and then do what you would like to do. With Facebook and with the internet and with modern technology, we have various different ways to get the youth involved. Because if we don't have the youth involved, we're not going to get anywhere. People right now are paying attention, and we need to keep them paying attention. We need to talk to people the way in the media that they need. If it's YouTube, if it's Facebook, if it's Twitter, all of those things are available. As far as, you know, this city, we waste money. We just hired an image consultant for $241,000 a year. We have public service announcements. We could use public service announcements for 30 seconds, 60 seconds free to, you know, introduce the history of the city. As the mayor of the city of San Bernardino, every resident, their voice will be heard. Everybody's input is very important. We cannot build this city divided. We need to have a leader who brings us all together and who is very concerned with the voice of the community. Thank you.
Want me to say it again?
Yeah. You'll get your turn again. All right, for our second question, we're going to start with Danny Tillman. And the question is, "10 years ago, the Rotary Club of San Bernardino was known as the Downtown Rotary Club. Today, despite expanded county and state government offices and courts, there is no downtown business or philanthropic club. There is no hotel, mall, or restaurant suitable for a professional meeting or client lunch. Why have the city's efforts to redevelop downtown and the Carousel Mall failed? What will you do differently?"
I think the first thing to do is make the downtown area safe. People do not feel safe in the downtown area. I've said it in the past forums, but I have to say it again. You know, Ontario, the city of Ontario has 200,000 people. Rancho Cucamonga has 200,000 people. Fontana has 200,000 people. Rialto has about 60,000, 100,000 people. Redlands has about 50,000 people. If you look in the Google Maps and you Google parole officers, there's two parole officers between Los Angeles County and San Bernardino County. One was in downtown San Bernardino on the corner of 5th and Arrowhead. So if a person commits a murder in Ontario and goes on parole, then they're paroled and facilitated out of the office on 5th and Arrowhead. So a city of San Bernardino with a population of 200,000 is servicing the populations of other cities over 1 million people. It doesn't make any sense. The one group of people on parole who have to report to that office once a week are the people who become homeless. I'm all for helping and taking care of homeless, especially the ones from San Bernardino. But this city is in essence recruiting people who are parolees, violent felons, sex offenders, rapists, robbers, to our downtown area. If I'm elected mayor, the first thing I do is say we have to find a way so that other cities take care of their parolees. That immediately will free up services for our own city to benefit our own residents. And Mr. Prince, with that, you get a safer downtown area. You have additional resources to make it look a whole lot better. So when people who I know, other county employees and city employees who live outside the area, when they come to work in the city of San Bernardino, they'll have a great experience. They'll consider moving to San Bernardino because of the experience. That doesn't exist right now. And the scary part is, I don't hear from my current elected officials that it's a problem. If you can't identify the problem first, you can never solve the problem. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Valdivia, why have the city's efforts to redevelop downtown failed, and what will you do differently?
Thank you, Tim. I plan to get in my hands pretty dirty real quick. 43 acres of downtown development needs to be done. We need a consensus from the city council to bulldoze it and get moving. My idea is a very fast-paced, quick-paced approach. We have been hemming and hawing, folks, for 25 years on downtown. There's no one that has a solution. My idea is to partner with brokers, developers, and get the business community at a regional and state level. I've been talking to individuals like Dos Lagos from Corona and others that want a very active role in this redevelopment. Been talking to Reen Dominguez of Rotary Construction on how to revitalize our downtown corridor. Inclusive, I think that we need to also, as part of this redevelopment, address Second Lake, the 5th Street Park. In 1984, the State Recreational Park Authority built it for us and essentially handed over to us about 6-7 years later. And we have made a mess of it. If you go there now, there's no recreational areas. It's dry vegetation. It's an embarrassment. And so what I'd like to do is, part of the carrot approach is the 43 acres of downtown development. I want to somehow garner consensus from the council and move that second park into the redevelopment zone also. I think that there could be mixed-use opportunities there around shops and a renaissance at that second park.
Well, Tim, I don't know if it's connected, but we haven't had a general plan update in 10 years either. And I think without a cohesive plan and a roadmap for what we want in our downtown, we are left without a vision. And piecemeal development that does not create a sense of place that people will take pride in and invest in and support financially. And we need that vision in order to sell ourselves to the correct developers that know what we want to achieve. I think we need to eminent domain the empty buildings that are downtown that contribute to the blight and create a walkable district that gets the 12,000 higher income people from the court, state, school district, county, and city offices out and spending their time in downtown at lunchtime. We need to fix the potholes and get the street lights back on now to increase both the perception and the reality of public safety and to attract businesses that are worried now that the area will actually discourage their potential customers. We need to reimagine some of the remaining historic buildings as live workspaces that get people downtown after dark, which will discourage homelessness in that area and attract businesses to meet their needs. This needs to be tied to a transit-oriented development so that people can choose to live downtown without cars if they want to and still access entertainment, food, and retail spaces without getting into their cars. We need to update our development code to make it easier to get a cabaret license, and this will keep our entertainment dollars in the city rather than having people go to Riverside or Redlands for entertainment. There has been some concern in the past that this would somehow lead to more crime, but all you have to do is look at Riverside. It seems to be working for them. I suggest tax increment financing to support this effort. The Government Finance Officers Association reports that more than 33 states are using this to fight blight and promote economic development and create jobs. And the Chamber reports 100% hotel occupancy, and we need to use transit occupancy tax and harness funds from some funds of that to support the arts in San Bernardino, which also attract visitors into our downtown area. And it creates jobs and is an important factor in economic development and community pride. Thank you.
Well, anybody want to stand and breathe a little bit? It is a beautiful day here. What a great setting this is at our golf course. In order to be able to encourage investment in the downtown and in the city generally, we really had to establish political stability. And we did that by repealing the charter. By repealing the charter, we put into place a more common, modern city government that is really very similar to most high-functioning cities throughout the state of California. And we did that in 2016, November of 2016, and it was approved by the Secretary of State in January. And so that process is still in the implementation stage of building that political stability. One of those was to change our elected city attorney, our elected city treasurer, our elected city clerk to appointed positions. And once that takes place, then those will be appointed by the city, by the mayor and the city council. Additionally, we needed to establish financial stability. And in June of 2016, we successfully exited bankruptcy. And that has helped to put us on a more stable footing. Exiting bankruptcy allowed the city to reduce its obligation by somewhere between $250 and $300 million. We needed to establish those two primary goals in order to be able to start to show some certainty to the investment world and those who are interested in investing in San Bernardino. We've already taken steps, though, to start the redevelopment of the downtown, specifically the Carousel Mall and Theater Square. We have a plan to sell and redevelop part of the 33,000 additional square feet once we sell the Theater Square. The Theater Square was acquired through the RDA process. We have a broker that is now actively marketing that. Additionally, we do need to take the Carousel Mall and convert it to a mixed-use facility. And we are in the process, together with the city manager and our economic development director, of having those discussions with those that are interested. We also have the Fifth Street corridor that is also, we put out letters of interest, and we're receiving strong interest in the Fifth Street. The Andreessen building recently closed as far as it was sold, and the sale of that recently was executed. That becomes one of those anchors, one of those starting points where somebody is starting to take an interest in the downtown, and with that I believe we'll see others. Through the redevelopment process, we've sold a number of properties and starting to see additional people wanting to start to be more engaged in changing the downtown. And one of the things that we had to do, though, is we had to assemble that land at the Carousel Mall. We've made some land swaps with San Manuel, and we still have one property there, the Harris building, that still is owned by another entity. And so we're working with them to be able to make that happen. The transit center was improved and they completed. And as a result of that, we now have a multimodal transit hub where people can get to throughout Southern California without even taking a car.
Well, I believe downtown is from Highland Avenue to Mill, Mount Vernon to Waterman. Actually, for the Carousel Mall area, I would turn it into mixed use, shopping, an amphitheater, restaurants, houses. The main thing, though, that we need to develop downtown is actually moderate income housing. We need to create home ownership. We have a city that is 80% renters, and that will never do in this city. But if we don't have the housing to attract people or to attract the Cal State graduates or the San Bernardino Valley college graduates, then they're going to go elsewhere. And me, I feel that there's really been no new housing for a person who, what if you don't want a backyard? You know, what if you want to own just something with a small backyard, like townhouses? No apartments, no low income, but actually home ownership. We have 6 main streets. I would create each main street like 5th Street. It would be 5th Avenue. It would be shopping. Baseline would be more of like a big box corridor. Mount Vernon, we turn it into Route 66. Waterman would be with the medical. And we would create a walking environment. We'd use secondary streets, and we'd create pedestrian walkways and bike paths using the secondary streets of the city that would lead to the park, so that you could get from uptown to midtown to downtown in 15 to 30 minutes without a car. And there's one major thing I would do. I would move the Greyhound bus station. You know, we have the transient center, and where that bus station is, it makes it really hard for the school over there, and it because of those nasty hotels over there. But if we were to put the Greyhound bus station actually in the transient center, it would be monitored, and we would cut out a lot of the problems that we have. We also, we need hotels like the Hilton downtown, because we get a 10% hotel tax that is for tourism. Part of it goes for tourism. It's a separate tax for tourism. And we don't, what do we use it for? We don't have anything for people to tour. If we created an iconic downtown, we would then be able to attract people. Thank you.
What makes me different from my candidates, I had this vision years ago in the early 2000s. When I ran in 2005, I'm the only candidate that said I wanted to see a football stadium in San Bernardino on San Bernardino Avenue in Mountain View. If you look there today, we have nothing but a bunch of warehouses. But the rooftops were there. They're all around it, and to this day, well, a couple years ago, we had the city of Carson, Inglewood fighting for a football team. Now, we could have done that back then. In 2009, the talk was knocking down the Carousel Mall. And there, I said, let's bring a 14,000 seat arena. And they said, well, Ontario has one, so we can have one too. Now, we can get a minor league hockey like Ontario. Ontario beat us to the punch. And we need to think big, because we have the resources. We have the rooftops around our city. We have the planes, trains, and automobiles to bring us to that destination. But we're running out of space, running out of time. The Radisson, whoever owns it, I would force him to refurbish it, or else I would condemn it. So that, the talk is he's not doing that out of spite, out of the public officials who've been running the city for years. The Harris building, the talk was knocking that down. I would tie myself to that. The Harris building, no more knocking down old buildings, refurbish them. If you look at the Mission Inn in Riverside, they were going to knock that down, but they refurbished that, and look how successful that is. Now, this is people with a vision. And I had a vision back in 2005, and I still have it. Now, without that bus being modified, we will lose the Inland Center Mall. We lose the Inland Center Mall, there's thousands of acres that we're going to have vacant. Now, how are we going to get a developer to come to the city of San Bernardino with all these vacant buildings? And one other thing we have to do is lower our sales tax to match other cities so we can bring car dealers again. We need to sell major appliances, cars, that bring in high volume of taxes, sales tax. And with having the sales tax too high, we're not going to get them. Fontana already beat us to the punch with that 210 freeway. Thank you.
What do you think of these candidates? President Chris, can we do our last question, or are we, is everybody okay? One more? You want to go right into the closing remarks? Okay. Sorry about that. This was a good question, too. All right, we're going to do a 1-minute close, and we're going to start with Mr. Valdivia.
It's been an honor to be with you, Rotarians, tonight, or this afternoon. We really appreciate what you're doing for our community, the impact that you're making on the lives of people in our community. Nearly 6 years ago, I ran under a very simple idea to represent San Bernardinians in my district. Now I have the opportunity to leverage my skill set, my leadership capabilities to take the city to the next level. Vote John Valdivia because I have a vision. For more information, go to my website, valdiviaformayor.com. You'll find 2 videos there. Why I'm running, it's a 3-minute video, and what have I done as a councilor. I think those 2 videos will inspire you to vote John Valdivia. I have a track record of getting things done in my council district, and I can leverage those responsibilities at a greater level as your mayor. I ask for your support, and this is a great opportunity. Our campaign, just on a quick note, we've reached several thousands of doors already. We're the only campaign really leveraging relationships at the doorstep. And this is going to be a great opportunity for our community. Thank you.
Again, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Gigi Hanna. I'm the city clerk, and I'm running for mayor. And I think it's time that we take our community back from the darkness and the despair that has threatened to embrace us, and take it back from the outside developers, take it back from potholes and streetlights. We need to embrace public participation, disinfect local government, demand sustainable economic development by recruiting high-tech, arts, and other creative sectors that move people out of dead-end jobs and into the middle class. And we need to support community policing, using the 95% of the people in this town who are law-abiding as partners in our effort to clean up this town. We need to emphasize stopping crime before it happens and give citizens more control over the quality of their life. You may read more about my ideas at gigi4sbmayor2018.com. And of course, you're always welcome to call me and talk to me personally. My number is 909-709-2019. Thank you very much.
Well, once again, I'd like to thank the Rotary Club of San Bernardino for hosting this event and giving us a chance to let you know a little bit about us. I believe that it is important, as I said earlier, to reestablish political stability and financial stability, and we're on that road. We've started down that course, and I believe it's important to continue to stay on that course. Because of the goals that we've established, we need to make sure that those goals are implemented. We've started to implement quite a few of them. I also serve on the San Bernardino International Airport Authority. I serve on the Inland Valley Development Agency. I serve on the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. I also serve on Omnitrans. And I also serve as the president of San Bernardino Regional Water Resources. And so as a result of that, I'm building relationships. I'm building regional relationships that will help the city to be able to reposition itself for some of those things that we've been left from the table. And so I believe it's important to continue to strengthen those relationships, the relationships that I've started to build within the regional domain, but also at the federal and the state level. When I became mayor, I joined what's called the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Very important conference and organization of mayors throughout the United States. And with that, I get the opportunity to hear some of the best practices that are going on throughout the nation. And so I think it's important to continue to strengthen that relationship that I've started. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Rotary Club, for having us. I appreciate being able to be heard. I'd like to say that I will be a servant leader in this city. We do need development. We need to set the bar high. We need architecture. We need water features. We need people paying attention. We need the hotels on 5th Street taken by eminent domain so that our children are not being prostituted out of there. We need our eyes to be awoke. We need to have conversations about things that we don't normally like to speak about. You know, I read every single agenda, all 1,000 pages. I make highlights. I attend council meetings. You know, and I can see where the problems are. We might say we're doing all these things, but we overspend. We overpay, we pay for consultants, we pay for things that we don't need to pay for. When I'm the mayor of the city of San Bernardino, we will not misspend money. We will take our citizens' advice rather than the consultants' advice. And we will get this job done in 90 days. This was not a 5-year job. This is not a 6-year job. This is 90 to 120-day job to fix this city, to re-image this city, to get people working and spending money in this city. Thank you. CarmelRow.com.
I am a business owner for over 30 years, like I said. What makes me different with my opponents, they all drink out of the same trough. Some of these, my signs I have them since 2005. You have to know how to use your money when you own your own business. You got to be creative. In 2009, I have some banners. You know, I'm not just spending all this money, but you have to run it like a business, but leave the politics out. And like I said, politicians are going to come to me when I win, when I become mayor, and I will reach out to them. And I will use the politics only as a mechanism to help better the city. Now, if they want to better themselves, you can take a hike. And I think we have to start that image now. We have, we have Morris and Penman. You know, I ran against them twice, and here I am running against them again. You know, we have a couple opponents that they're endorsing them, which they're all good guys. But we have to move on and run this city like a business and leave the politics out of City Hall. And I've experienced that the political engineers that they've been hiring that I've dealt with after Roger Hargrave, political department heads, they're told what to do because they're in politics. So if you hire somebody, let them do their job. Thank you. Rick Avila for mayor. Thanks.
Again, Rotary, thank you very much for hosting this event. I'm running to make San Bernardino safe, make San Bernardino look a whole lot better, and take care of our senior citizens. You know, I'm running because I talk to people in the city, and they see the same thing that I see. The city has a lot of problems that are solvable, and we need a leader with a proven track record of getting things done, and that's me. I really think I'm going to get elected this time, not because I'm connected to the right groups in San Bernardino, but I've been around long enough that people realize I'm the person for this moment. When you hear the current officials talk right now, it's almost like they have a total disconnect from reality. And that's the same feeling I have. I want to see in San Bernardino that when I tell somebody I'm from San Bernardino, I can feel proud about it. And when I tell them I've been here all my life, they don't ask me why. They'll understand that I'm in San Bernardino because the city of San Bernardino and the people of San Bernardino are as beautiful as the mountains that surround us. That's what my goal is. And we can get it done. You know, I wanted to just share one experience I had with a former council person. We were going to build an elementary school on Baseline. And she went through all these things to stop that school being built on Baseline because she said that was the Baseline business corridor. And this was 20 years ago. And you look at that same area and it just went totally down. In her mind, she really thought she had this vision of making something happen. But she didn't have the ability or the vision or the common sense or the leadership to take the action to actually make the change. And those are the things that I possess. So I hope that you can give me a chance and vote for me on June 5th as the new mayor of the city of San Bernardino. Thank you.
And now you can give them a big hand. I want to thank our candidates for all their hard work for campaigning. Nobody knows better than me how hard it is. And I want to thank the audience for taking the time to listen to these great candidates. And remember, June 5th is the election. Tell your friends. And Chris, are you going to ring the bell?
Why don't you bring it right for me?
All right. I got to do this for a whole year. We are adjourned.